Hi everyone. It is so good to be here with you today. I feel like it has been forever since I recorded a video. It's because I was recording what I felt like was daily, all those videos for the new year, and then we had all these energies coming in for soul connections and twin flames. And now we're already here approaching the new moon. I believe it is the 24th of January, which I think is next Friday. Whatever next Friday is, I know that's the date of the new moon in Aquarius, which is why I wanted to go ahead and record this video today. It is Sunday, because I know through the week I probably won't have time. Things have just been crazy with my schedule, and the energies have just been really intense. I don't know if you guys are feeling it as well, but I've talked to a lot of my friends and I know they are. And if you didn't watch my full moon forecast, I remember distinctly getting over and over the words in my head, the heart is going to be cracked open and the heart chakra cracked open. And I was equating that, I think, mostly to the masculine energy, but I think maybe I ended up, I don't remember how I framed it, but in my mind, I was thinking any masculines that, are closing off their heart, they're not going to have a choice when this energy comes in. Well, imagine my surprise when I had this huge activation last weekend. I had just a lot. I mean, I've had a lot of heart chakra issues over the years. You guys know, as I've been on this journey, you think you're done with it and you never are. It just keeps expanding and growing. But I had some pretty severe heartburn. I had palpitations, and I never get heartburn ever. So I'm not a person that's ever had that problem unless I'm going through some sort of activation. So I was having heartburn. My throat as well was opening. So all of that. And it was really sort of as I was admitting some things I'd been suppressing to myself. And, keep in mind that we all have masculine and feminine energies within us. And I know I say that over and over again, but it's really important to remember that. And I've been myself, you guys know I've said this, identifying more with, both sides as far as masculine and feminine. I myself have realized now, looking back, and I'm going to get into this here in a minute, that you know I we equate all, the quote masculines to being with karmics a lot on this journey, and I've just realized, myself, for the last 3 years, that's what I've been doing, um, with somebody who was a catalyst, and you guys know I've went back and forth many times, especially since spring, with where I am on my journey and getting frustrated and then doubting, and so I'm going to get into this. And there are times I've questioned my sanity, times I felt kind of, I'm trying to think of the word, I mean, foolish. um, Here I am supposed to, I'm on this journey and I'm very open with things, because I want to help people. And I find that the readers who do share more of their own personal experiences, I identify with that. And again, I'm going to get to that here in a minute. But it's just something that I've just decided to do, because if it helps one person, then that's the reason that I'm supposed to do it. So with that being said, it's like, gosh, isn't she a reader? Doesn't she know things? Doesn't she get messages? Why does she keep going back and forth and vacillating between this person's my twin and they're not? And um, I did get messages, and you know, extreme 5D experiences, telepathy, synchronicities, signs, um, things that you can't explain. That's a lot of where this you can't make this shit up would come from. I mean, I'd get a telepathic message to look at a number. I told you guys right when I started my channel. And the message, excuse me, and my throat is still, it started up again today. It stopped, and then my heart's starting again. Um, I would get these messages, and the message in the book would be some sort of phrase that my perceived twin had said to me in person, to kind of, it was like an inside joke with us or something like that, or it would match exactly the tarot card that I was guided to pull. I mean, when you have those types of experiences that you've never had before, where this person awakened you, where you tasted God through their kiss, you tasted their soul, you tasted things, you experienced things within your being that you never thought were possible as a human, in this realm. I mean, how could you possibly think that anybody else could be the one for you, right? But little did we know, many people in the collective that was just an initiation process and a test. So just to backtrack here, this is obviously, it's going to be a new moon reading, new moon soul connections reading. But first, I want to just give that a specific subset, the twin soul energy update. And I wanted to shout off the rooftops the other day, when Melanie, her channel used to be Whole Again 1111, and I've talked about her a lot, at least in the beginning when I launched my channel. She was the inspiration for me. She's a lawyer by day, or she was a lawyer and has a business that she runs, and then she does the spiritual stuff on the side. And her journey was extremely, very much like mine, as far as the timing of when she awakened, the things that were happening with her, perceived person and mine, and the triggers. And I mean, it was down to, and then when she kind of realized, well, I have a different person who's my twin and they're even more like it. And then that falls apart and you're just like, what, so she just completely quit doing readings. And she's devoted herself to her own healing and her own businesses and things like that. She's very public with all this. She's public. She's having some health issues and things like that. So it's now Powerful Transformations is what she's called, her business. So she posted this on the YouTube channel. And again, it's Melanie Powerful Transformations. She says, as I make shifts on my channel, I felt it was important to share some of my experience that led to the changes I'm making. Because I'm sharing experiences gained from twin flame readings, facilitating live events, and leading the Facebook group, it is not up for debate. Argumentative or ridiculous comments will be deleted. Okay, so anyway, she gets into that. Now, this is a back and forth that she had with someone else on the channel. Melanie says, the majority of the online twin flame community experienced intense energy and telepathy to later find out the person they thought was their twin flame was not. Hence why I'm taking a strong stand in the community to return the focus on self and service to others. This involves each person in their healing, as there's a strong effort to courageously address the real reasons behind being magnetized to a toxic relationship, which is typically a pattern and cycle for most, that is recreating dysfunctional family dynamics and trauma. So happy for you that you're liberating yourself and committing to your own journey. There are other groups dedicated to twin flames in earlier stages of their journey, and I'm not shaming those. This group, however, is evolving away from being stuck, giving away power, feeling helpless, and investing in fantasy love. We live in the here and now. If the other person returns and they fit the mold of a healthy, functional, and available for true intimacy, then we've magnetized our mirror because we've done our own work, been accountable, and healed. The group member says, how did they know the person was not the twin flame? Melanie says, as they begin to go within and heal their self-esteem and self-worth, as well as trauma, clarity came as to the reasons the other person was manifested and the lessons they were to deliver. Many, including myself, were taken down that path to learn about the effects of childhood PTSD, effects of growing up in dysfunctional families, and the resulting attachments and addictions that needed to be healed to understand healthy love. There are an abundance of theories regarding the intense energy felt when an activation with another occurs, and the longing, desire, and feeling like you're one. Often it is trauma bonding, a release of OxyContin, dissociative disorder, Kundalini awakening. That was me in my case. There's usually a lost identity of self that is in need of healing and reprogramming old conditioning and wounding that fragmented the soul since birth. It is usually the extreme grief and suffering that propels the need for finally addressing the root causes of attachment to another. The group member says, I still don't understand how you know the real twin flame as this could happen with all the real ones. I think in some cases, not all, it is for healing. Although I have no proof, the intense energy thing is ultra amazing, as if he became a part of me. And Melanie says, each person's experience is different. That is why it's necessary to do the healing work, so your discernment is not skewed by unhealed trauma or other wounding. And so I commented on this, and as you guys know my story, but in case you haven't heard it, this kind of succinctly summarizes it. Absolutely what happened to me. I'm so grateful for this post. I have struggled with being wrong about this person because the awakening and subsequent 5D experiences were 100% real. I wasn't even looking for this, as many people are on this journey, which is a whole nother subject. I didn't even know what a twin flame was, when he awakened me in May of 2017 and catapulted me onto this journey. I definitely see and appreciate the growth within myself, but I was having trouble explaining the 5D experiences, the syncs, the telepathy. In 2019, I manifested 2 other experiences where the guys were even more twin-like than the catalyst. Clearly, they were additional tests. I've let go of the need to find a twin, and I'm no longer shutting out an amazing 5D conscious soulmate potential relationship that's been developing as a friendship for several years. This person has been extensively working on himself as well, and we've been through several, the same experiences. So I have no idea what, again, what's going to happen with that, but I was shutting it off for a long time because I thought it was forbidden. I thought I committed to this toxic relationship, and then I signed a soul contract, and I thought that every single time I tried to leave my twin flame dynamic and I was blocked. You guys know we laugh about the flooding in my bedroom. That's still, I'm never going to live that down. That happened obviously because I wasn't supposed to be doing that. That guy was a toxic and not my divine partner. But other times where I had tried to pursue something, I was doing it in a very forced, controlling manner and not letting things flow naturally. And so I think that was a lesson for me in divine timing. Now, we'll see however things play out in that situation. All I know is it's become apparent that, that the pattern that I was in for 3 years with this person, 2.5 years of which I, thought he was my twin flame. I'm no longer putting up with toxic behavior from someone just for the sake of they awakened me. Now, the thing here with those of us that have experienced this, I do know people that I don't believe that they're in that situation. They look exactly like this person. They're following all the similar patterns as like the twin flame dynamic does, whether you're with a catalyst or not. But the difference here, I think the big thing for me is that these people, these masculines, they've admitted feelings. There is, there's obvious growth and there's progress in the relationship, and they've discussed futures together. They are working towards something and it's tangible. When you get to the point where the same patterns keep repeating themselves and there's no growth or no progress coming from that, and you start to realize you don't even really think that you want this person anymore. You don't even think that you need them, because you get to the point where you're so whole within yourself that you don't even miss them. I don't know. And then it's more of, I don't know, you're more content alone than dealing with that. And that's sort of some of the things that I had went through with myself. And then, at the end of the year, I manifested somebody who these tests, I'm not even kidding you. They're really, they're really crazy. But I just thought, deep down, I even knew, I think I know what this is. This looks kind of very similar to what happened in the spring, but it's in a little bit nicer package. The lesson that it took me to learn with my twin, my catalyst, 3 years of putting up with this behavior before I finally just was like, nope, sword up, done. It took me 3 months approximately with the guy in the spring, although I did have to go back and kind of close that out after I did the past life regression. And then this other guy took 3 weeks. 3 weeks too long. It should have been like 3 days. But so I just want you to take be cautious, if you are stepping away from the twin flame dynamic and you start to, because here I was in this position where after my birthday, I had just surrendered, I let go, and I felt so much at peace. I was like, I don't even want this person anymore. And the thing is, I don't need them. And if they're going to come forward or they're not, and somebody else is going to come along, I'm not going to force it. And I was in this great place. And then here comes this guy who is into crystals and tarot and finishes my sentences. And I'm just like, and he gets planets and astrology and all these things. And I'm like, what is this? And so of course my mind goes like, well, I've let this person go. But I started noticing stuff kind of right away. And then I'm like, you know what? I literally, in that 3-week cycle, I'm like, this has been the same cycle that I've had, other than us physically spending time together, that I spent 3 years in. So just be careful, because I don't know if it's just that our thoughts are so powerful right now that we're manifesting, somewhat of these things ourselves, because we are co-creators, or if it's something that, again, the universe is bringing in to say, all right, have you learned the lesson now? It doesn't matter what the package looks like. What is their behavior? Their behavior says so much. And if it looks exactly like something else that you've dealt with, you know, walk away from it. And I mean, we as twin flames or soul connection, I mean, you have to have boundaries, and it doesn't mean, you know, have your guard up again. We're being forced to open our hearts, but set boundaries. So I think that's all. I know I've been rambling a lot. I'm gonna do this reading a little bit differently. And by the way, I do want to backtrack. I don't want to sound. I know I might have sounded kind of bitter. I'm just being very matter of fact. I am um, so grateful for the guy who awakened me. I still consider him a friend, and I always will. Um, you know, it's kind of just sad. It's like sad because I had this fantasy, and again, it's what it was. It was a fantasy of, you know, they're just going to wake up one day and realize that they feel the same. And, you know, how many times can you get beaten down, you know? And they show you, I mean, he never really led me on. So, you know, there was none of that. It was all of the signs. And so it's like you're being initiated into this next level because you have to manifest, you have to be whole within yourself and balanced in your masculine and feminine energies to show the universe that you're ready for a healthy relationship. Because if you truly love yourself, you're not going to let somebody treat you that way. You're not. Um, and you can care for them and you can be thankful for them, but you don't have to be in their life and you don't have to let them treat you that way. So anyway, off my soapbox. I'm going to try something different. Actually, I don't know why I just grabbed these cards because the energies are so, I feel just, you know, if you've been on this journey for a while, and especially if what I'm saying is resonating, I feel like the energies have just been very much in alignment. And so many of the experiences that the masculine, the true, you know, gender masculines are going through, I feel like I'm like, well, I've had that experience or I've had this. So I don't really think there's separation anymore, from an energetic standpoint. And I'm even to the point too where a lot of the 5D stuff isn't even really happening for me anymore. And I think it's just because I don't need it. I needed it to get me through. I needed it to give me faith. It was kind of like the carrot dangling at the end of the, you know, it's like, just keep working on yourself, keep doing this. And for many of us, I think we needed that to stay on the path. That's one of the other things I was going to say is, you know, you're not crazy. You know, I guarantee you, if I would, the way I was being treated, you know, things that were going down in 3D, if I would not have had the 5D relationship with his higher self, I wouldn't have kept my faith and I would not have started my business. I would not have, you know, got trained in Reiki, studied tarot. I wouldn't have done all these things for myself and worked on myself so extensively because I just, you know, I would have probably given up. And now I'm strong enough. I'm at the point where I don't need that because now I'm kind of in that energy myself anyway. And many of us have said we feel like we're in a new realm, that we've transformed. I've been getting the Phoenix signs. A lot of other people have too. I feel like, you know, of course, we're 3D beings. We're humans. We're going to be vacillating between the energies. And I think that's why I've been so exhausted too. Many of us are tired just because it's very hard to anchor 5D energy in a 3D body. Um, so, you know, we need to eat lighter, you know, cut back alcohol or cut it out altogether, drink a lot of water. But, you know, I feel like if you're already part of that, if you're in that 5D consciousness now, kind of anchoring it, it's not above you anymore. It's not far away. It's not like you have to, I don't know, you're just part of it all the time, if that makes any sense. Okay. Sorry, I'm rambling, guys. I will timestamp this. I'll try to remember. 37. Okay. I'm just going to do a spread for the union, for the union energies to just see what's going on. And we're going to see if we pick up more on masculine. I might pull some chakra tarot, or some other cards, but we're just going to see what's going on with the new moon. I'm getting that it's going to be some swift energy. It's about new beginnings. It's in Aquarius. It's going to be swift. It's going to be truths coming out, honesty. I feel like there's going to be a lot of progress forward. I feel like there's going to be change. I'm getting change. Let's see. Change in the dynamic. You may even, again, you may get to the point, this might be a new beginning for many of you, that you're starting to feel these shifts too. And then you're like, you know what? I'm going to open myself up to the other possibilities. I'm not going to chase this person anymore. I'm going to set boundaries and focus on me. So let's see what happens. Oh my God, you guys. Did I just not say swift? I kept saying swift and fast, and we got the chariot right there. Boom. Charging ahead. Okay. Let's see. really dizzy. That's bizarre. I've had some crazy stuff happening today with my heart, and it's bizarre. I never get lightheaded. Wow. Okay, so that's crazy because when I was shuffling, you guys heard me say like swift, fast. I was getting on that. We got the Chariot, and I was talking about truths coming out, truths being revealed, truths coming out, forward progress. And we got, as far as the action forward with this new moon, it's the Queen of Swords, which for me, it's definitely about speaking your truth, and it's also about setting your boundaries. It can be about, the Queen of Swords is no nonsense. She is, cuts out the bullshit. Um, so let's see what we've got here. I'm getting a couple of different energies. So for some, there is the potential for swift movement. I'm getting that the masculine energy is very much in their head. They're in their head and strategizing how to move forward. They've been doing a lot of work on themselves, but I think, I think they're feeling a lot of this heaviness. I'm getting very strongly that they're missing their counterpart. This is the Ten of Wands, is the heavy burdens card. And you can see she's on her knees. And I know this is a feminine, but a female entity, but it's like she's got little baby wings sprouting. And a 10 is about completing the cycle. So I feel like the masculines have underwent a lot of rapid growth just in the last couple of weeks. I mean, don't you guys all feel? I've been telling people, and I know people have been echoing this, that I feel like just since that cycle I closed out with that, that false twin energy that was 3 weeks. I mean, that was just like a week and a half ago, and it seems like a year ago. It seems like another lifetime. It seems like another lifetime since I even was interested in the catalyst, as far as in a romantic way. It's just bizarre. But anyway, I digress. Both parties, I think, are, in this energy that I'm channeling, they're wanting the Ten of Cups, they're wanting the fulfillment, and they're working towards it. Whether they consciously know it or not, the masculines, again, both partners are working on themselves. Nine of Pentacles, independence. They're finding their wholeness within themselves. And so I think for this group, I think maybe there could be some communication that comes out, some sort of truth being revealed, but ultimately there's still, we still have the Hermit and Temperance here. So I think, for those that have, there's been no contact, I think that's probably going to continue at least for the next week. But I think this new moon could bring about, a new beginning, or at least a recognition that they realize the worth that they have to have the successful Ten of Cups, right? We've got the Six of Wands, a recognition. We've got activation, which is the Fool, a new beginning. Okay, major arcana. The Chariot obviously is a major arcana, but we've got 3 major arcana, boom, 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 after this Queen of Swords comes out. Okay, so the Hermit is one, soul searching. Soul searching. Temperance is restoration. It's also a healing card. I think maybe, I'm getting that's, and this came out in the 2020, the Twin Flame forecast, that I was picking up on some of the masculines, a large group of them awakening in February. There are going to be unions in February, and there's going to be awakenings. And I think that's maybe where this is getting there. There's been a lot of, again, with the Nine of Pentacles, with the Hermit, those are both 9s, that's self-focused. I think they're self-focused, but there's ultimately this knowing that this is coming and that this is what they're working for. and I think whether it, again, if it's subconscious, I think after this new moon, being in Aquarius, which again, this is Aquarius energy, this Queen of Swords, they may feel a little bit more comfortable asserting themselves, a little bit more confident coming forward, and believing in it. And with the activation, a fresh start, um, I think that there could be some awakenings that this new moon could trigger the awakenings in the masculines in February. That's just what I'm getting. I'm also getting the energy where things are moving forward, and you're wanting, maybe if you're the feminine watching, or, it can be, again, we have the energy in both of us, but if you're the counterpart who's awakened, you're the one who has been doing all the work and you're wanting things to move faster, you're kind of getting frustrated. What's kind of blocking that, I think maybe, is, there could be a false twin situation going on, which is what I was just alluding to, because the Seven of Swords, while in this other group that I was channeling is about strategy, this can also be a card of deception. It can be that, and I'm getting that, there's been this heavy burden that maybe you've been the only one doing the work, and you're the one that's looking forward to this and working towards this, and you're starting to have a realization perhaps that this other person's never going to change. And if they do come back to you, this Queen of Swords energy can be about the throwing down the gauntlet, putting the boundaries in place and saying, I'm not going to do this anymore. And then going back within yourself, soul searching, healing from that, and starting fresh and realizing that you can be successful. You can have a successful 5D conscious relationship with someone else that is not this catalyst. So that's what I'm getting. And again, well, and with the Two of Swords on the bottom of the deck, oh my gosh, you guys, stalemate and indecision, but it can be about, making a decision, like which you're at a crossroads. You're at a crossroads. You're kind of like, I've been doing this. I've been working. I'm getting these signs and synchronicities, but, keep in mind, and people used to tell me this, and I would get so frustrated and annoyed, and I'm like, you can't make this stuff up. Like, I'm seeing, this license plate and this, and I'm getting like the birthday and the birth year and like all these things combined. And it's like, your mind is so powerful. It's really hard. The more that you work on yourself and the more that you tap into this stuff, you start creating these synchronicities. They just show up. It's like your whole alternate universe. Because that's what was kind of throwing me off after I knew that I was done with the situation. I kept seeing crazy stuff. I mean, and I would pull signs from spirit, and I'm like, not, it's like, you're going to see this. And then I did. And it was stuff that it wasn't like it was something you'd see all the time. It was like blue. I got the blue card and the Cupid card. And I was like, I'm never going to see that. And then the next day I got, in Words with Friends, the auto player was Cupid, like for Christmas time. It was like a reindeer Cupid. The background was blue, and his face, he looked just like the guy that was my catalyst. And I'm like, but once I stopped tapping into those, and I'm like, those were like, can have to manifest in themselves because I obsessed about it for so long, if that makes any sense. Once I started thinking this other person, this new guy was like potentially the counterpart, I was feeling his energy. I was seeing synchronicities about him, crazy ones. I mean, crazy stuff, not just little things. And then, here's this other person, and it's like, you start feeling their energy, and so once you're activated, once you're awakened, what you need to keep in mind, what I feel like I need to say to many of you is, we're all one. You guys who are on this path, that it's oneness. The fifth dimension is about one, one consciousness. We're all one, animals, entities, everybody is one. So if that's the case, you're not limited to have an energetic bond with that one person in this entire universe. So, it took me a really, really long time. I'm just like, but we have had astral sex, and our souls merged in an astral encounter, and as I was awakening, 2.5 years ago, and our chakras, I felt like, had merged, because there were times we'd be texting and I would say something to him that like maybe was going to be something that would make him nervous, or and I would feel his heartbeat, like that, or we'd be together and I would feel our energy alignment. And it's like, just because those things happen, it can happen with other people. And maybe I'm not going to be, this might not be a popular thing. And again, everybody's journey is different. Okay. So you know, who knows? Maybe I'm not really a twin soul. Maybe I'm just, on the path, and I'm fine with that. I'm not going to try to label somebody as my twin. Oh my God, they look kind of like me, and they sound like me, and they do this and they do that, because that's where you get into danger, is when you're trying to label someone as that, and you ignore these other red flags, and you put up with behavior you normally wouldn't put up with someone. I certainly wouldn't have. I mean, I was done with this person, my catalyst. I was done with him a few months in, I thought. I was totally done with him, and I couldn't shake him. But then he awakened me, and then, all this whole dance, you guys know this, the end of the story. But had that activation not happen with me, I would have just been like, I'm gonna find someone else. That's what you've got to ask yourself, is not to close yourself off, but to set boundaries and say, just because this person has affected me in a way energetically no one else ever has, would I let them treat me this way otherwise? And if the answer is no, that's when you've got to bring the sword out, and you've got to go within, soul search, and do some more work on you. Okay. And this moon, now I know this is a full moon in this card, and this is a new moon we're coming up on, but I think the full moon cycle coming forward leading up to this new moon, has brought a lot of illusions to the surface, a lot of this deception. And it's kind of like, yeah, these things were tests. These things were meant for us to grow and to, again, and be initiated. I keep getting, it's an initiation. And we've got to have strength. We've got to have strength and restraint. And I know that's one of the last things that we want to hear. But we're warriors that are on this path. We volunteered for this. And it's not easy. But when you get to this point where you've worked on yourself so extensively, and you realize that you can be happy without this person, without seeing them, without ever touching them again, without, but you want the best for them too. You want them to be happy. You're not upset. You're not in this, resentment mode. Your heart's not closed off. You'll be amazed that once you open yourself up to other possibilities, and don't latch onto one person or one idea of what a 5D relationship should be like, things start happening. And look, here we go. We've got Ace of Pentacles, wise investment. Ace of Pentacles is like everything you want physically in the 3D. And I think, at least what's coming to light for me is that, this is has been a huge fantasy. This whole, being a twin flame, or, in a soul connection, whatever you want to call it, it's not about, the fairy tale ending. And for the longest time, I think I was placing too much emphasis on that. Even when I said I had detached, even when I said, I still believed that this person was just going to come knock on my door and say, oh my God, I'm awakened. And I know now, and I love you. And, at some point, for many people that may happen, but I think if you're truly, a twin soul, or you're bonded in that manner, I think they would have expressed some sort of level of emotion for you in 3 years, or however many years it's been. And they would not treat you the same way they treat so many others. And again, that's just my perspective. I think it's really critical. Again, setting boundaries, and putting our intentions out there of what it is we want. 3 of Wands. Oh my God, what do you want? 3 of Wands. You don't want to be sitting around crying, over someone, seeing them on social media with other people or whatever. You don't want that. You want somebody who's going to step up. A divine partnership. 2 of Cups. 10 of Cups. We got that here. You want somebody who is going to be your partner, who's going to honestly communicate with you, who's going to express their feelings for you. And again, if you've been on this journey a long time and you're not seeing progress, okay, then that's what you really have to ask yourself. And for the longest time, you guys remember, we had right before all this kind of started coming out for me, and I started having these realizations and epiphanies, I kept getting that the masculine energy especially was an Eight of Swords, which is a self-imposed imprisonment. I kept thinking, well, I'm stuck with this person. I signed up for this. I'm stuck with this. I mean, that was the attitude I was in. And the reason being, because when I tried to pursue something else, every other time I tried to pursue something else, 9 times out of 10, it was the wrong, it was toxic as well. I was blocked. So I thought that's because I'm supposed to go back to this. No, what I was supposed to do is let go of this situation and say, this is toxic, I deserve better, but not need something else to back it up. And so that's what I'm getting really strongly, is that some of you may be in this situation, Two of Swords, where you're in a crossroads and it's like, but I've put so much time in and I've invested so much time in this journey with this person. Well, look at it, look at what it's brought you. Look at the growth. It was not wasted time. That drives me crazy. You know, I've had, you know, some people in my family, why have you wasted all that time on that? And I'm like, no, I have not wasted any time, because I have learned to love myself. And so that's how I know. And look at, I mean, I've got business. I've, you know, look at the growth I've had, and I can help people, and I'm truly happy. I don't want to be with somebody just to be with somebody. So it's been a beautiful gift that I've been given for these 3 years. But now it's kind of like, all right, I don't need this anymore. And so that's where you need to be. And I'm sorry, I know this kind of turned more into a preaching session than a reading, but I'm gonna try to pull some cards. So I'm gonna pull, I didn't have these the last time. So these twin flame messages. This is for the masculine, what message the masculine has. And again, I don't know what, you know, which collective is going to come out. And again, take it, could be a message from your inner masculine to your inner feminine. Our connection still affects me. I don't know if I can meet your expectations. So I think that's where some of these guys are, you know, the first group that I was channeling, where they're strategizing, they're still working on themselves, they're feeling very burdened right now, but they're starting to get their wings. They're starting to get their wings, and they're still doing some soul searching. They're in hermit mode, maybe not believing that they're worthy of this, or that it could be successful, that this 10 of Cups is attainable. Again, I don't know if I can meet your expectations. They may just feel that they don't bring enough to the table, is what I'm hearing. They may feel, especially if there's an age difference, just that they're not a man yet, is what I'm getting, that they're not ready to grow up. They know, and for some of you that have communicated this dynamic to your counterpart, or at least your feelings, it's just a lot for them. Maybe they've not had a serious relationship before like this, but they can't shake you, is what I'm getting. Our connection still affects me. So it's really beautiful. We're going to do a message from the romance angels for the feminines to the masculines. Yeah. So I think this is coming from the feminines who are in the second dynamic, which is their a catalyst situation, or maybe it is, you know, somebody who was supposed to be their counterpart and is not doing. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. But what came out was codependency. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. So there's definitely masculines out there. I mean, both parties, but a lot of the masculines are drowning their sorrows in alcohol. They're working a lot. A lot of them are doing drugs. Some of them have really gone downhill with addictions, because I think a lot of this energy is being affected, and I think maybe they really wanted to maybe be a part of this, and they didn't feel like they could meet the expectations, and so they've just went completely within themselves, shut off, and are just becoming addicted to very unhealthy things. And as a result, the feminines in this dynamic are pursuing new love. They're stepping away from this, and they're realizing, you know, they will always care for their masculine, for this person who awakened them, but they're realizing that they can't help them, they can't change them, that they have to want to change themselves. And right now, this group is not wanting, the group that I'm picking up on is not wanting to do that. And that's why, you know, again, it could have all been that planned all along. as an initiation. I'm getting that in some cases. In some cases, the pain, you know, the masculines incarnated in a lot worse circumstances in many cases than the feminines did, and had a lot more painful things. And it's just some of them are just having a really hard time processing things, especially not being awakened. And if they're going through an awakening, they're feeling like they're going crazy, and they're just in a lot of pain right now. So wherever you are in your journey, or whoever, you know, whichever subset you identified with, I encourage you to just keep your vibration and joy, to send love to everyone around you, but especially the person who awakened you if you are moving on, and if you have somebody in your life, you know, who is going through these addictions, send them love. Don't, you know, you need to set your boundaries, and you need to love yourself, because you can't save them, but you can just send them love and pray for them. That's what I'm getting, is to just, you know, cut them out, you know, not in a hateful manner, spiteful manner, as much as it hurts. Again, I'm just getting, you know, spread the love, and that really, we may be even getting more heart chakra activations coming with this next throat chakra too. I think that's probably why that started up again, for me right before I did this video. So I know this one was a little heavy. I apologize, guys, but you know, there's a lot going on. So I would be interested to hear your feedback. Feel free to comment below. Feel free to private message me. I will never share anything that's sent to me privately, without anybody's, you know, your consent. So I just would like to see, you know, where you are in your journey, if any of these things resonate. But just know that we're all in this together, no matter which collective you're a part of. A lot of the energies are overlapping, and at the end of the day, it's all about love, and self-love is how you end up, you know, being able to properly love others. So keep working on yourself, working on opening your heart, and everything will fall into place. Till next time, take care.